I get a new connector thing. I forget what it's called, but it's literally the part that connects to all your bags. And it's very cool to see Beth do it. I wonder if she would let me film her. I know she doesn't like to have her face filmed or in pictures, because I've taken pictures before of like my blood work or getting ironed, and I know she doesn't like that, like to be in the picture. But I wonder if she would allow, maybe not, because I'd have to bring in a camera oldie thing. I don't know. That'd be interesting to watch her do my transfer set. That's what they're called. Transfer set exchange. So I am, I think, now at 3 years of doing dialysis. I think this is now starting my 3rd year. Something like that. That's wild to me. I can't believe that that's where I'm at. Like, it's just second nature to do my exchanges, and it's second nature to think about those things and to be able to just function so happily and healthily on dialysis. Like, it doesn't make me cringe, and it doesn't make me feel like I'm missing out on anything. It's just an acceptance, I guess. I was watching this show where the girl was on dialysis, and then the doctor mentioned, well, she's been on dialysis now for 8 months, and one of the nurses said, wow, such a long time, and we haven't had success with transplant. And I thought, wow, 8 months, that's nothing. I'm already at almost 3 years of this, and I just have to say that I really actually enjoy it, and it's not a burden to me at all. Again, the only time that it's perhaps a burden is when I think about maybe taking Charlie swimming, or watching them swim, and having fun with that. But that's really the only time that I think that it kind of has a negative feel to it. But other than that, I'm happy. So, I don't know. Right now, though, I am on my way home. I'm going to do my exchange. And then I'll probably eat something. Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Last night I made tacos, which was the first time I've made them in quite some time. I did it the authentic way, where you put the raw meat in the taco shell and then you fry it all together. It's always really good. And then I added some cheese and some lettuce to mine. And I was like, I have salsa. And I realized that my daughter, when she visited, opened the salsa and then put it back in the cupboard. And I stood there for a hot minute thinking, like, should I risk this? Because I really felt like I wanted that salsa, chunky salsa feeling for my taco, and yet I didn't do that. I decided that I better throw it out, because I have had food poisoning in the past, and it is no fun. I want to say that food poisoning can be as severe as being in labor, except that you do not get a prize at the end. You just continue to feel like crap. Let me tell you what happened when I had food poisoning. I lived in this house that was really, really hot. It's an older house. The air conditioning was like the window air conditioners. It was not insulated hardly at all. It was a historical house down at the U of A area. And it was very cool and sweet. And most of the year it was fine, except that you had to shut everything down in order to keep that cool air in the living room. And that's what me and the kids would do. We would actually go and get wet and watch movies. And that's kind of how we spent our summer. Well, I wanted to eat some crab salad. And so even though the crab salad was in the fridge, and that was fine, what I didn't anticipate was that the Italian dressing that I had in my pantry, which was not open, could also go bad. And so I dipped my crab into that, which is a delicious light snack, by the way. And I ended up getting really sick. At the time, I was married, and I was home alone because he was traveling and working, and I had Javi home with me. I think the girls were all at school or something, and I had to have Javi call an ambulance because I didn't know what was wrong with me. The cramping was so intense. I was crying, a poor thing. I probably traumatized the poor kid. He was crying, he was probably like 8 years old, and we lived just down the street from UMC. And so an ambulance came, and I went with the ambulance. He stayed with our neighbor friend, and I got to the hospital, and I was like, my God, I don't know what this is. And then, part of me was like, am I pregnant? Like, my God, surprise, but no, I was not. It was all food poisoning. And they handed me this bucket to puke in. And if you know anything about me, 1, I don't like the hot sun. 2, I cannot stand a cockroach. I don't care. I can't stand them. I will run for my life and leave you to fend for yourself. 3, I don't like boogers, infections, snot, throw up. Like, if you're gonna throw up, just thinking about it makes me want to throw up. That's how I am. Although if you are bleeding out, I will totally stick my finger where it needs to go to help stop the bleeding. I will put pressure. I will do whatever needs to be done to save your life. Your bone could be sticking out and I'll be calm. But those other things, get out of here. Anyways, they handed me this bucket, and they're like, oh, just puke in this if that's, how you feel. You need to do that. And I would not do it. I was trying so hard not to throw up. And then eventually at some point I got out of my chair, I went to the ladies' room, and I threw up in there, which was so embarrassing to me because there was other people in there. I felt so bad until all of a sudden I felt so good. And I was like, I'm fine. So I went to the nurse's station, and I was like, I feel okay. I think I'm going to go home. And I ended up walking home. It was like a block from my house anyway, so it wasn't like a big deal. But they were like, why? You can't just leave. And I'm like, I'm leaving. I feel great. I'm leaving. And so I did leave. Everything was fine. And that was my experience with food poisoning. So last night, as I stood there thinking, do I want to risk the salsa? Because it was tomatoey, chunky salsa. I was like, no. So I ended up throwing it away because I didn't want to risk another trip to the ambulance. And I'm wondering, could you imagine having food poisoning on dialysis? Because a week ago when I was really sick and coughing, it kind of hurt my port area because of my constant coughing. And my whole rib cage, you know how that can get really sore because when you're coughing, that just gets sore? I was thinking, my God, if you got food poisoning, like, that could be really serious because you could maybe infect your peritoneum with any of that stuff going on. Then you have peritonitis. Anyways, that was my adventure yesterday. Tacos were delicious. I went ahead and used Cholula, so it wasn't spicy free. It was very good. And I tell you, if you ever had food poisoning, I'm sorry. I feel sorry for you because I still could feel how terrible that was. And that was like 15, 20 years ago. So, okay. Anyways, I'm going to let you go. You guys have a good day.